Carmen McNamara, welcome to the show.
Thank you. I'm grateful to be here.
So what do we need to know about your story, the early chapters of your life, to understand the person who sits across me today?
Well, I started in the industry really young. My mum's best friend was a beauty therapist and she was tinting my lashes and waxing my brows when I was like 13, 14. And I always just wanted to do that. So for me, in terms of like my career, that's where I started. But I've always lived in Perth. I'm the eldest of 3 daughters. And we've always lived around Perth area. And my career just, I feel like when I go back to it, it's like 13, 14. Like I knew what I wanted to do. And I think now I'm really lucky because I know that a lot of people struggle to find what they want to do. Whereas I always wanted to go into the beauty industry. So I started pretty much from then on. I worked Thursday nights and Saturdays at a beauty salon at Whitford's and went to beauty school when I was allowed to finish school because my mum and dad made me finish school. I was ready to go on year 10. I was like, I know what I want to do, but they were like, you will be there until then. So Can
you pinpoint back at that time what gave you that certainty that why you wanted to do that?
I just think I always have had an inner knowing and I am quite deep and I would say that I am a spiritual person and I just have a really strong intuition. I just know. And along the way of meeting my husband when I was 19, even now, like it took a long time for us, even as a couple, he would sometimes challenge me or question, whereas now he never does. If I'm like, I have a feeling, I don't feel good about this or I feel really good about this, I have to say I've always had a really strong intuition and I always knew that I would go into the beauty industry. I always knew that I would have my own business. I didn't know what it would become, but it's this inner knowing and I think that we ignore it or I know that we ignore it. And so many times when I'm talking to my clients, I'm like, well, what does your gut say? Or what are you, taking it back to that human question of like, well, how do you feel? Not about everyone else. So it's something I've never answered before, but I've just always had, I still do now. I have feelings about things. I have thoughts about things and I just know things deep in my gut of right and wrong for me and what I should and shouldn't do. And I'm not always great at something or I'm not always successful in those decisions, but I'm usually never wrong about situations and people now being 37. And I think this is also, or I know it's heightened now that I've had children, which we were talking about before.
Yeah.
So when you become a parent, you're also now thinking of other little people and how to guide them. So my intuition is strong. Yeah, she speaks to me. She's deep.
Intuition's an interesting one. I feel like we're born with it and it's slowly conditioned out of us. Like we question ourselves a lot. Where do you think, can you pinpoint in your story what gives you such confidence with your own intuition and potentially what you see in other people, how they silence their own intuition?
I mean, I've had like really supportive parents, but they've had their own issues and I can't say that it's because of them, but I had really loving grandparents and really loving parents. And I think that they always cherished us and we always knew that we were special in that family home. So when you go out of there, it's when you're exposed to everyone else and their thoughts, their feelings and what they put on you almost. And then you have to go back and be like, oh, well, I thought I was special. I thought I was taught this way. So if I'm pinpointing, I would say that I've had, love and support around me, but that doesn't mean I haven't had turbulent things in my life,
100%.
And again, being a parent now, I think back and, you can't blame your parents for things that they've done or the way that they've raised you. I really feel grateful for their love and support now, but also what they've done for us over the years. Despite their flaws and despite the things that they've gone through themselves, because now I see them as people. Whereas you go into your childhood and I said this the other day to my best friend, at a point in your life, you realize who your parents are. I'm sure it's happened to you, and it's almost like a mask is taken off and you're like, wow, they're not like just mum and dad, they're a person. So I think that happened in my 20s of realizing looking at my parents differently, if that makes sense. So I would say love and support in the family home is what I got. And then just backing myself and following my gut of what I think and know is right for me, because everyone follows certain things or they will copy people, and it's like, well, what are you actually like? So now my babies are coming to me, what do you think of my drawing? Or like, do you like my outfit? I'm like, well, do you like your outfit? Because I just don't want them to be getting, praises or yes, mum thinks it's good. Although we still always want to get our parents' approval. Like I'm 37, I still want my parents to think I'm doing really well, or, that I'm achieving things, or that I'm a good mum. But at the end of the day, I have to think those things myself. So I'm trying now that I'm responsible for these 3 babies, and even my teams, like, do they think it's good? What would they do? If I answered every question for them, if I led everything and was like this, and this, then it would be doing a disservice because they're not using their own. I think we've lost the art of like listening to ourselves for sure. And yeah, I think social media is obviously, as we know, people looking on there and comparing things, looking at things, and a lot of clients that come down and lay on my treatment bed, they're unhappy and they think they're not enough, or they're going through things, and skin is so emotional. And that's why I said to you before, what we do, it's like we're in psychology. It's like we're counselors. So I'm not sure, to answer your question. I've just always had a knowing. And someone asked my husband recently, like, why do you think Carmen is good in business? And he said she just has a knowing. And I'm like, oh my God, we've been together for so many years. Like, you've never said that. That was like a love note to my heart. He's like, she just has a knowing. Like, she just knows. So yeah, if you can tap into that and listen to that and, be by yourself in your thoughts and be confident in your decisions, and they're not always going to go right, and you're going to make mistakes. But I think we need to just go back to like being more heart-led and following our intuition, because that's what I do. I'm just trying my best and following, what I feel is right for me.
Because I feel there's this real tension between listening and learning from other people, right? Because we don't have all the answers, but then also not outsourcing our own intuition and what we know is best for ourselves. And it's like, whether it's through our parents or a business team, like there is a real muddy waters about like, what do I need to take advice from other people, and how do I lean into what I know is best for me? So how has that process changed in family life and business life over the years, knowing what to lean on other people for and then what to trust yourself with?
I mean, I have to ask for help without feeling guilty. I can't do everything. So that's something I would say. And then if I'm looking at family life now, I mean, yeah, you try your best every day. There's no handbook for being a parent. And if you're following your intuition, I mean, each child is different. My husband, his needs are different, from when we first met. And I think you're always learning and being guided by what you think is right, but it doesn't mean to say that you might try different options as well, if that makes sense. So one person might need something, you might need something, and you have to try and amalgamate that together. So I think it's just a learning process, really, if that makes sense. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, because I feel like, I don't know what you're like, but I know for me, I like to have a really simple solution to everything, but it doesn't work like that. Like every single person is different. Every single specific thing, whether it's a business or how I show up to different things, requires a different aspect of myself.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, in my job, I have very masculine energy. I'm leading 2 businesses over 3 locations, and I have to be this person. And then when I go home, I'm mum and mummy, and they want to play with me and they want their apples cut a certain way. So yeah, again, you're going to be different in every single situation. And I just try to be present as much as I can where I am, which I, fail at all the time. Trying my best at work, trying my best to be, a great mum. And then I've got to also look after Carmen and what's best for me as a person to make sure that I can give everything to everyone else as well as myself. And I think mums lose that along the way for sure. You don't give to yourself as much unless you make time to. How are you getting your nails done, or and I'm like, well, I book it in. like I have to look after myself because otherwise I don't feel my best self. And I'm also in an industry where I'm giving so much, and then I'm leading teams. So you also have to give back to yourself. And I think my mum's been a big driving force in this. She was a stay-at-home mum. She did odd jobs over the years, and she was always told that she was never encouraged to do anything more than herself. So I think I'm very entrepreneurial because she was like, just go out there and do whatever you want to do, because she didn't feel like she had that opportunity. And I look at her and she probably could have been a great nurse, a great teacher. And I've had this person supporting me and my grandmother and my dad, you know, to go out there and get after it for whatever I can achieve or want to achieve. And I think that comes back to the support and intuition. Like I've been like, okay, yeah, like I've got this. I'm going to go out there. But, you know, I still feel like I'm not good enough sometimes. Still have those, you know, thoughts that I'm like, oh, I should be doing this better, and very hard on myself. But I'm not typically looking at anyone and being like, oh, I want their life. I'm like, oh, how can I be better? Like, what do I need to do to improve myself? Like, how to be a better cook, how to not raise my voice. You know, a lot of it goes back to being a mum for me now, and still learning my ways, of course, through business, even though we're 11 years in. That is the biggest learning curve as well. People go in and just don't realize that you're just going to have this self-development course on steroids. It's so crazy and it's really scary. And I think back and I'm like, wow, I don't know how I've done this, you know, and it's the same as being a mum too. I'm like, wow, I'm a mum now. Okay.
Yeah, I think I fall into the trap. I think a lot of people do, of like thinking that there's some sort of destination, whether it's skills in business or how does that translate into being a mum now? Like, because I think the biggest thing I'm curious about with you is how you're able to like shift and adapt to different environments, like being at home with the kids, husband, and then going to work. Like you talked about the energies changing. It's like, how have you learned over the years how to improve your ability to do that?
I mean, I try my best every day. I mean, when I'm looking at my schedule, I block time for myself, like I said, and then I'm blocking time throughout my day. So like my schedule is very, very tight. And within that time, like if I'm working, I'm all in work. So if I'm looking at how I'm managing it, I make time for myself, but I'm also, making sure that I'm really like organized. So I had a friend was like saying to me the other day, I need to be more focused. And I'm like, well, you need to like schedule that in or find a way that's going to work best for you. But I can have all the structure in the day and then the day can fucking fall apart. And, you know, your child's got gastro or someone's quit or someone's trying to sue you or a client's had a full-blown reaction and you can have a day planned. But I would say for me, I'm a very list person. I'm a very planning person. I make sure I have all my beauty treatments. I book time to work out. And I wasn't always good at that. I just have had to get better over time. And I always talk about energy being my biggest metric. Like I have to be really at good energy, meaning calm or had worked out or had time for myself so that I can go in and lead the teams and so that I can be the best mum to the kids. They all know that I have my beauty treatments, like I go get my hair blow dried or I get my brows done, whatever it is. But like mummy does that to make mummy feel good so that I can be the best that I can be. And people will be like, well, that's selfish, but I've had to prioritize myself as well in terms of running these businesses, which I also had these businesses before the kids. I take my hat off to anyone that starts anything like one child deep or two child. It's difficult because they do come first, and to then have to go out, whereas I was just absolutely working my butt off. I mean, I still am, but before I had the kids. So it was a lot easier then, I would say. And my husband and I always are like, imagine if we were opening Skin Fairy now with the 3 kids, it would be hard because we're still working really hard. So, and I'm sure, your dad being in business for many years, he would probably say the same, like your kids will need you. There'll be that pull there, but you're also building something else outside of it. So I think that, I'm a very organized person, but I don't want to give the false pretense that stuff always will fall apart and you never know what's going to happen. So the other day, my cousin's like, how are you? Like, it's the start of the year. And I'm like, I'm good, but like nothing's happened yet. Like everything's organized and it's all okay, but nothing's actually fallen through or we haven't had something heavy yet, but it will come. And I'm talking about business more than anything, because with kids it's always up and down. But yeah, I definitely don't have it all figured out.
Well, tell me when you do and we can.
Yeah, like I don't think anyone, I'm really good at certain things, but yeah, other things still learning. Everyone is. I'll be able to give you lots of tips maybe when I've been a parent for 10 years, 20 years.
I heard this quote that I really liked from someone. He said, it was this famous quote about, there are no solutions, only trade-offs. And I think with business and family life, like there isn't a full solution to master everything. There's just a series of trade-offs that you have to make. How have you found that tension between mastering business life and then also showing up as a mum? Because the reality is, you know, they benefit each other.
Yeah.
But there is an element of trade-off where like you can't put all your energy into just one of them.
Yeah. And I just have had to let go of any guilt. Like it still happens. I still feel guilty if I can't be 100% with my children all the time. I've chosen to have a career. So I think you have to be comfortable with being uncomfortable, that it's not always going to be one or the other. I don't want to be a stay-at-home full-time mum. That wouldn't give me joy. I feel like I love being at home with them and I want to spend as much time with them, but I also love my career. So I've had to choose that, and it's now quality over quantity. My time at home is sacred. My phone is on airplane mode at times. I don't want to, again, put it out there that it's perfect, but yeah, my quality time with my babies is really sacred, and I've had to structure really serious boundaries around work and being a mum as well, so that I can manage my weeks, because yeah, my weeks are enormous, and if I look at them I think, oh my gosh, I wonder if anyone just had like a bird's eye view. It's pretty full on. So that's why I take time for myself, and that's why when I'm at home I don't feel bad for being at home. But yeah, if you're at home you feel like you should be at work. When you're at work, and I've had to learn to let go of that and have boundaries around that. So I don't feel guilty or bad for being home with my babies anymore.
Well, I think that people remember the level of presence you have and the energy you show up with rather than the quantity of time.
Yeah.
Right? I also think without realizing it, you're probably using Parkinson's law. Have you heard of Parkinson's law? Anyway, it's this idea that if you allocate a certain amount of time for something, the amount of time taken to do the task expands or shrinks to whatever the time's given. So if you give a task 6 hours to do, it'll take 6 hours, such as cleaning the house.
Yep.
So when you time block or organize your time around these things, like the time taken to do these things, like if you had 30 hours to do business, or all the time was with the kids, the same amount of stuff would get done, the same amount of enjoyment would happen or business activity would happen. But because you're giving less time to it, you end up just doing the same amount of work anyway.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I mean, I feel like, yeah, what was I doing when I was doing my 9 till 9s, my, Monday to Saturday in the beginning? I think I probably could have been, working smarter, not harder. But it's also something that you don't sometimes realize when you're in it. You know what I mean? You just don't realize how your time is being consumed. But I try to be strict with my time. Could I get better with it, or am I wasting time doing certain things? Maybe. Maybe. I don't know. You have to ask my team and my family.
Because I think at times I fall into this trap in the past a lot, where there's like this entrepreneur has this like badge of honor for how hard they're working, and it's like, look how hard I'm working. But it's like a lot of the time, I know for myself, very guilty of this, doing the tasks that don't really move the needle forward. It's just the art of rationalization, procrastination. Have you read a book called, I think it's The Art of War by Stephen Pressfield?
No.
Oh, it's a beautiful book about how like all the sophisticated ways that we procrastinate. And it was a prime example of like, I read the book, I thought it was a biography of myself.
Oh, really?
But it's like things like, in the past where you'd spend like 20 minutes or like an hour trying to change this font on Canva.
Yeah.
And it's just like, what am I doing? Like, and now that in my calendar that I have given myself less time to do things, I just get it done efficiently because I know that you give a busy man something to do and they just get it done.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes you are your own worst enemy and you're just, messing around, doing whatever it is. And if you just focused a little bit, you probably would find that, you could get tasks done. I mean, I've only just got an EA in the last 6 months, and I probably should have had one, a long time ago, doing tasks that are not, not in my visionary power of what I could be working on because I am doing those tasks.
What do you think people misunderstand most about skincare?
I think that, they think that results will happen overnight in one treatment. And we always take it back to the gym analogy. Like if you're building muscle in the gym, like you don't go and do squats for a week and can squat 100 kilos. So we try to make pictures in people's mind or clients' mind so they could understand visually. And yeah, I think that would be one of the big ones. Like results don't happen overnight. And if you have any acne, pigmentation, or anything on the surface of the skin, typically it's an imbalance within you. And when it comes to skin, we're treating topically, but it's all internally. So it can be a really vicious cycle of my skin's not working or I can only do it in 2 treatments. Well, how long has that skin condition been present? How long have you had it for? We can't get rid of it in one session. And it's just about educating clients. People only know what they know and they're usually spending a lot of money it's emotional. They're not happy with their skin usually, which is why they've come in. It's very rare now that we have someone, I just want to come in and have maintenance treatments. It's not like that. It's like they've got a problem or they're getting married and they want to look the best they've ever looked in their life for the girls and also guys.
So what are some of the most overlooked internal factors that affect skin?
I think obviously poor gut health, which we see so much of now. And I think we know in the last 10 years especially, like if I'm looking back at our business especially, it's just what you eat and your sleep patterns and your hormones have such a big effect on the skin where, clients are sourcing not just skin therapists now. They're having a lot of external remedies as well as coming in and having their skin done. So I think gut health is a big one, and your hormones. So we always encourage clients if they are having topical issues that they should get their hormones checked. So go to a GP, go to a naturopath. They might be low in insulin. They might be high in iron or low in iron. There's so many things. It's not always just a one-stop shop to have your skin done. So I think something that's overlooked is still internal. But I think in the last 10 years, to go back to that, is it's like a cool thing to be healthy now and eat healthy and do all these things. Like, there's all these like biohackers and different remedies that people are doing. And it is great because it helps us as skin therapists, not having a facial and just clearing one thing. So I think we've evolved a lot and I think it's great. And you have some clients that are A-type personality. They want a list of the ingredients. They want to know when it's going to be fixed, X, Y, Z. They want it all written down. And then you've got your B-type clients that are like, I'm just happy to go with what you suggest. These are my problems. So you also have to distinct what kind of client is this. But a lot of clients, most people are very well informed now. And I think it's great, but it means that we have to be well informed, always training, always make sure that we have the upper hand that we can then support them or guide them. But again, going back to the human aspect of if you don't know the answer and you think, oh my gosh, I'm not sure, they should dive deep into, sourcing a doctor, sourcing a naturopath, as well as coming to see us.
Yeah. So if someone was naive to skin, let's just say most guys, for example, what would they need to know about skin that is important for them?
I mean, I would just say it depends on their concern. Like, do they have a concern? If they don't have a concern, the first thing is we live in Australia and you should be wearing SPF. The amount of skin cancers that we see, I asked my doctor when I saw her last and had a skin tag removed, and she said that she'd picked 18 melanomas in the last 2 weeks, and I just geeked out because I was like, were they men? Were they women? Where were they? Like, are they wearing sunscreen? And some people are still not wearing sunscreen, which, is scary because if anything, I'm telling my dad who's been on a building site for 40 years, just wear sunscreen. Does he wear sunscreen? No. So if I'm looking at like a general blanket of like what should someone do, like I think you should wear sunscreen if you're not. Are you wearing sunscreen?
No.
Yeah. Yeah. See, and that's my husband wouldn't if we weren't together probably. My dad doesn't, like I said. But I think if you're asking for like a general, I would say sunscreen because melanomas are rampant and they can be fatal. And skin cancer is so overlooked. Imagine, I know people that have, a client's mother last year passed away because she had a melanoma. She was older, but how long had it been there? When was the skin check? I've picked 3 in my career. Like, that's just crazy to me. And when you know someone's face and you've treated them for a long time, one of my clients had one above her brow and had to have it removed, and she has 3 kids. She's still my client today. She's been my client for 15 years, but she could have died from a skin cancer. So if anything that your listeners take away is go have a skin check and make it a yearly thing, save it in your calendar and just go so that you have peace of mind, because sometimes it's those inconspicuous places, people have it on their toe, on their ear. You obviously are happy with your skin, so it's not like a concern for you, but just to be safe, if I give you anything, I would suggest to wear sunscreen, especially if you're in Australia. Like, we're so exposed and the ozone layer is thin and we do need to be protected. But does my dad? No. Have I been a skin therapist for many years? Yes. So
I've interviewed a variety of people, holistic health coaches, people who speak out against different things like skin sunscreen, for example.
Yeah.
And what they said is the problem isn't the sun, but it's the environmental toxins that we're all exposed to,
Probably.
which combines with the sun. So they are saying that the sun gets blamed as a result of like sort of activating the effects of environmental toxins. But yeah, I'm not well equipped enough to.
And I mean, I don't know enough about that, but it's like the whole thing that, everyone's blaming the butter for what the bread did. Like, bread's deemed really bad, but butter's, healthy all of a sudden. And I mean, yes, whatever loophole or whatever rabbit hole, you want to go down. But I think that, I don't know enough about that. All I know is that we see it. And it is happening. Is it the chemical and the toxins in our environment? Probably. There is so many toxins, but there'll be clients out there that will say, I don't want to wear sunscreen because I don't want products on my body. And I'm like, well, the food that you're probably eating has chemicals and whatnot on it. So it's all very well to say you don't want to have any chemicals around you, but chemicals are everywhere. They're in the air. And I think it doesn't mean that we can demonize anyone for trying to do that. It's just, eliminate where you can. But I have heard what you've said before, because, we have that with clients. I don't want to wear sunscreen. I don't want that on my skin. Some people don't believe in sunscreen. And I think natural vitamin D is really important. Do I get my kids out in the morning out in the sun? Yeah, I do. But for the most part, I am wearing driving gloves. I am protecting my skin. And, skin cancer is just go and talk to a skin cancer doctor and ask them the question of how many, melanomas that could have been fatal have you cut out in the last week, and you'll be surprised, because it's on the areas that you don't expect: ears, toes, back. For someone to lose their life over that is crazy when they could protect it. And it might not be that they use sunscreens. They could use clothes, Sunscreen isn't everything. It's also protective layers and being safe out in the sun. But there's sun damage, sunburn, and melanomas like you wouldn't believe. Yeah.
When you look at someone's face, what can you tell about a person?
Usually, if they're lacking in essential fatty acids, which means like I see a lot of clients that are dry, or they might have a little bit of build-up on their skin, so they might need exfoliation. I don't really look at people's faces and judge them, but I would say that, and then I can usually pick a hormonal dysfunction in someone, like a PCOS client. They've usually got acne on their cheeks. They've got chin hair sometimes. They might be struggling with hair loss. So sometimes I can pick those types of things. A lot of people are inflamed though. Cortisol levels are raised. They're red. They've got acne, or their pigments come up. We saw a rise of pigmentation after COVID, and pigmentation is basically like cortisol induced. So as well as hormonal. So you can have babies and get discoloration, like spots on your face, right? But also we saw a rise in that. So I would say I can tell if someone's like quite inflamed stressed. I can tell and feel if people are sad, but I think that's just because I'm an empathetic person. I can tell in a room of people, but I think, is it the person that I am, or is it because I've done skin for so many years? Because I can read people.
Okay, what's your
read
on me, and I'll see how accurate it is.
Well, I feel like with you, you are very particular about things, and deep down very like kind-hearted and like loyal, very hardworking. But when I came in, just how you were talking about yourself, about like the podcast and everything, I was like, you're doing such a great job, but I think that you would be your toughest critic, but I think you would be very supportive for like other people, encouraging them, because you're deeper than what you seem. Yeah.
You're good.
Is that right?
Yeah, spot on.
Yeah, I feel like, you'd probably be a great – how long have you been with your partner for? Like a while?
Yeah, 3 years.
Yeah, like I'm sure you'd be very supportive to her. And I think I love the fact that you're interested in a lot of different things, because you can gather little things and bring that into you. So, when you're 37 like me, one day you have so many more things. Like you probably will be learning things like crazy, talking to a lot of different people. But particular about things. Yeah.
Do you think that that's from observing behaviors? Like, so when we talk about intuition, like how does that tie in just to picking up? Like, because I feel like when you're in a room with someone, there's like an energy, there's a vibration. Yeah. And I feel like our mind, like we're able to pick up on it.
Yeah.
But like, do you just trust that, like, is it, because I don't think I've ever been very intuitive, like women like yourself with that. So what is it? Is it like just a voice and inner knowing? Like I've had it a few times, but not as frequent.
Well, we try to teach our children this, like our babies. And like, sometimes when you're scared, you're going to feel it in your tummy. Sometimes you're excited, and you're going to feel it in your tummy. So I think learning your body and what you feel and respond. But I think if people really listen to it, have you ever met someone and you're like, oh, everyone loves them, but you're like, whoa. I mean, that's a classic story. There's so many. I get feelings from people. I can notice like a facade, can notice sadness, like, and I don't know if it's because I'm really empathetic. I also have had to learn to draw a line. So it's not like I'm like crying and stuff later, but like I can read people very well in a room. I mean, my children are now in primary school, and I'm exposed to all these new people, and I'm like, hi, bye. I'm a hi, bye, mum. I don't have time to have coffee with everyone. I'm not going to parent catch-ups and stuff like that. But when I'm walking in the school, like I can feel things from people, how they're talking, how they're carrying themselves, their body language. And I can pick things about people. But again, I think, how people hold themselves, how they carry. But I believe it is definitely an energy thing. I have been told before, like, you have these abilities, like, again, I don't know if it's just stemmed from working with people for so long. I really can. So my hubby and I were having coffee on the coast a month ago, and there was this guy limping. He was walking past, just like a limp, and his girlfriend was walking with him, and I stopped drinking my coffee. And Reese and I don't always get time together. Like, it's our coffee. We don't have our babies. I'm like, oh my God, let's hold hands. And I said to Reese, we need to stop. We need to help him. And Reese was like midway, like, what? And I was like, we have to get up. Just at the little, just out the front of Yellow here. We went up to this guy and we're like, are you okay? And he's like, no, I'm not. I've just hurt myself on the reef. So he was limping, but he was like hiding it. But I started to feel almost like sick. I was like, oh my God, he's not okay. Reese helped him up the stairs. And then I said, we just live around here. Do you want us to drive you? No, I don't. And I was like, oh, he won't accept help. But we got in the car and I was like, he's gonna come back to us. And he knocked on our car window and he said, actually, I'm in a lot of pain. Like, I've really hurt myself. Can I get in the car? And I was like, yeah, no worries. So in that instance, I've just broken up time with my husband because I was feeling that someone needed help, but he didn't openly say it. It was really, I mean, he just lives here just on Kitchener Street. We dropped him home and I said to Reese, you need to help him like out of the car. And we're driving away and Reese was like, that was crazy. And I was like, I could feel that he was like not okay. And there was heaps of people around us. Like, they would have seen him limping. I don't know where that comes from. I don't know I don't think I've worked on it or built it. I think it's the person that I am, my natural intuition or whatever it was. But I felt physically sick. And in the car, I said, are you feeling physically sick? And he was like, yeah, I am. So anyway, we dropped him off. Maybe he'll listen to this podcast. Hello. But I think also it goes back to protecting myself as well. Like I've had to learn that not everyone is your friend, that people don't have the best intentions. And it's not being negative, but maybe that's in the industry. I've had to learn like, wow, someone might seem like, oh, well done, or you're lovely, or I want to be friends with you. I'm like, whoa, Nelly. Like I take my time with people. I'm not your best friend straight away. And maybe that's self-preservation or looking after myself or protecting myself. I don't know, but I can read people very well. And I usually can tell if we hire someone whether they're going to work out. I can usually tell before someone is going to resign. Behavior changes, tones change. So maybe I'm just acutely aware of things and people. And I think that's why I have a small circle and why I'm protective over my babies and who I associate with.
Because I've been told that intuition is like we have all of these experiences in our life and the intuition is whispering to us because we have this like evidence of all our memories stored, and it's like it's sort of trying to tell us something. And when we listen to that, it's like, and I think we have a lot of this idea that we have to present ourselves as like the most kind version of ourselves, and we have to be this really good person, this virtuous person, so that when our intuition is whispering something to us about like, oh, maybe we should be skeptical about this person, or it's probably not going to work out, or this person's quite fake and inauthentic and just using me, like when that gets whispered to us, we ignore that because we sort of
want to be polite.
We want to be seen as this nice person. We want to do the right thing.
Yeah. Well, I ignore that now. I just think, a lot of people want to be your best friend or they want to do this or that. And it pays to take a moment to think about things, to sleep on things. Don't be best friends with everyone straight away. You can still be kind. And like I said, school for me is a classic example of like, hi, bye. But, every one of the mums are chummy and they're hanging out and stuff like that. And I just, that's not me. But our babies are all at school together for a long time. So maybe it takes, time to learn and know someone and meet them. But I think society is very polite. It'll be a lot of clients that come in, they lay down and then they'll leave and they'll be like, I wasn't happy with my treatment or complaining. And because they couldn't do it in the moment because they felt upset or they felt like they couldn't be rude, they have to send an email or send a DM. And I really work with my team with this to be like, it's okay. Like we just need to support them. They're feeling these emotions towards whatever way it is. That's okay. And let's just take it back to what do they actually need? Do they need support? Do they need education? Do they need reassurance? But yeah, I definitely would say that people tend to be quite polite because they want to be seen to be a certain way. And for me,
also I find, sorry to cut you off, but I think with that conversation is because we are just comparing our private life, our painful moments, our negative thoughts to everyone's highlight reel when they show up. Everyone's sort of like playing nice.
Yes.
And then when we have these negative voices, the cynicism or the doubt about something, we're like, fuck, it must be me. I must be the problem because I don't see this anywhere else.
Yeah. It's always the blame game of like, oh, it was me and I think a lot of our therapists, especially when they're new with us, they'll get really upset if a client doesn't like them or they complain or something wasn't done right. And it's because of their own story and they will, typically be sad for a day or whatever it is. Our team members in particular, and I think in our industries, we're very heart-led, everyone is emotional and emotionally connected. But I always have to say to the girls as well, if I am working with them, that it's not about you. It's about them and whatever they're going through. They could be going through so many different things and it's got nothing to do with you and the skin treatment, but they're going to take it out on you or they're not going to be happy. But yeah, everyone comes in and it's all very polite. But I think that's in a lot of social settings and probably something that everyone sees, whether it's with friends, family or in a work setting. Most people are polite. They want to be seen to be a certain way. I think you can be kind and polite, but also distant.
Well, I think
protective. I'm like,
well, I think like having boundaries is healthy. And I always, when we talk about business being a personal development journey, like I definitely had that with the podcast, right? Where like early days, because I have people asked to come on, right? And I've had to learn to say no. Like I've done a lot of episodes back in the day where I haven't really wanted to, or
shame
and guilt. Like, oh, I feel so guilty. But guilt is just this perception that we're doing more harm than benefit for someone. We feel guilty because we feel responsible for their pain, right?
Yep.
But then the thing is, because we're unconscious, we're unaware of how it actually will benefit them. Because when we say no to someone, that gives them an opportunity for growth as well, but also a reflection, like maybe, okay, why doesn't this person align with me? Like we always think that no is somehow bad, and we internalize this stuff, and we want to be seen as like this kind person. But I think it all comes down to relationship to self and being able to have boundaries and know who you are and what you stand for.
No is also a full sentence, and I even have to practice and say that to myself, because I would definitely be someone that could over explain things, but I've had to train myself. No, or I can't make that work, or thank you for the opportunity. It doesn't align with me right now. And it might be because of them, the opportunity, don't want to be in that situation. Like saying no is so powerful, and I really want to say to everyone, because it was said to me recently, no is a full sentence, Carmen. And I was like, okay, yeah, thank you for that. So that's the kind of wisdom and stuff you take on when you need that. No is a full sentence, because you're wrestling with yourself at times when the answer is no, but we bend for things.
Yeah, because and someone told me like no's the most powerful word in the English dictionary.
Really?
Yeah, it's like, if you ever feel guilty about, like the simple exercise I always do, if I ever feel guilty about something, I always just ask the question, how does it benefit them? Because it always will benefit them in a way. We're just always unconscious of it. We're super conscious of like how we think it's gonna harm them, but how is it gonna benefit them? And if you actually sit with it, you'll actually be surprised what your intuition brings to the fore. You actually start to see how it will benefit them and serve their life, because we don't want to be aware of that. It's a.
Why do you think it's blocked though? Like, why is it happening on your perspective?
On like intuition?
Yeah.
Oh, because I think we have pride of wanting to be the good person.
Yeah.
So we have the pride, and so when we have the pride, it's sort of entangled with the shame. So we feel shameful when we say no. We feel guilty. So it's also, I think, because we get a lot of praise right when we're growing up. It's conditioned socially to be the kind, polite, nice person who always says is yes.
Yes.
And we want to be seen as like doing
good girl.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And it's like the same as the nice guy syndrome, who like we think if we do the right thing by people, they're going to read our minds and give us exactly what we want. So I think one of the exercises, this is part of like the DeMartini method. It's all about like, because it's sort of an illusion, like the feeling is real, guilt and shame.
Guilt and shame.
The feelings are real, valid. We go through them, but our ego creates the state of mind, and they're quite illusory. Because you shouldn't feel guilty for enforcing a boundary.
Yeah, and saying no.
But your ego has been conditioned by the past to think that it's going to help you. Because the brain, it's all just trying to survive, and it doesn't care if it comes at the expense of your feelings, your enjoyment.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of people will say yes out of being polite. And yeah, I mean, I've had to learn to say no and had to learn to say those boundaries, but I really sit with things now. And I think if you're teaching someone, it's like, well, how does it make you feel? And do you want to do it? Because we shouldn't have to do something if it's really being like, no. So it's interesting though, because the guilt and shame will always just come back to, your childhood and what you're exposed to, and the emotional environment that you were brought up in, for sure. I could definitely say as a child, I had to learn how to read my parents' emotional state. I could tell when they weren't okay or if something was going on. And I just think now, like I was such a little girl, but I was aware of things then. So whether you find it in your job, whether you learn it along the way, your intuition will always speak to you, but we learn these certain ways of having to be, to keep people happy, to be polite. Exactly survive, what you said. Yeah, to survive, to survive the good, to survive the bad.
And before we continue, I want to share something that has genuinely transformed my life. Now, I've spent years studying psychology and interviewing expert guests, but I've never found anything as effective as the DeMartini method. Now, most frameworks just teach you how to manage your feelings, but this is specialized in dissolving the heavy emotional charges that keep you stuck. It's about stripping away the baggage, the resentment, the heartbreak, the anger, so you can actually reclaim your life and move forward with clarity and inspiration. Mitchell Vickridge at Nirvana Health is a specialist in this process. He has created a specialized product that simplifies the DeMartini method so you can apply it to yourself and start regaining control immediately. For those who want to go deeper, he also offers professional one-on-one coaching and facilitation. If you want to stop being held hostage by your past and start mastering it, go check out the link in the show notes to get 10% off all his services and products. It's the most powerful tool I've ever used to empower all areas of my life. Thank you. And let's get back to the show. It was the exact same, right? Like, and then you learn to analyze social situations quite a lot, like behavioral things. Like, I'm very observant, like hypervigilant, and like you just pick up on behavioral things because it comes from a place of like, I'm not safe, I'm not okay. So you need to scan, detect the external environment.
Yeah.
Which becomes your greatest strength. But if you're not able to sort of let go of that and also work through that process, like it's very, very draining.
Yeah, and I can see why people don't go out and they stay home. And I think my job is very social. Like I socialize all the time, and I'm talking and I'm communicating, and I'm how are you, and you know, doing skin, working with the teams. So when I go home, my social battery is I don't feel the need to go out. Whereas back in the day, I would have never stayed home on the weekend. So you also grow and change so much. It'll be so amazing, the transformation that you go through in your 20s. Like it's just what you're going to learn and how you're going to become if you're already doing this now. But yeah, I hope everyone gets a sense of confidence along the way, or just a knowing of themselves, and hopefully not through bad situations. But usually it's all the ways that we do learn. But for you in particular in your 20s, like there's just so many amazing things that will come and develop your character. And if you're doing this, you're meant for big things.
Thank you.
Which is exciting. You got to like take that on. Like I always find it really hard still.
I know.
You got to like take it and like bring it. Yeah. Yeah.
Speaking of that, have you ever had to tell a client that their problem wasn't their skin, but in their lifestyle?
Yeah, for sure. We educate around like, okay, Sally, if you haven't gone to the bathroom to do number 2s in a week's time, it's probably because you've got internal blockages going on, and the topical treatments that you're paying $300 or $100, it's not going to work. So yeah, just educating kindly to people. A lot of people don't get their period for years, and they will say, oh, I haven't had my period. And we're like, well, we're meant to bleed. You're meant to, you know. So sometimes people come in very unaware, or they come in and it could be like a blame game, and that's okay. Clients get upset and they'll be like, my skin. And that happens. My skin's breaking out, my skin. You have to look at all the other areas. It's your diet, your lifestyle. Clients' skin have cleared when they've broken up with their boyfriends, you know, or they've divorced their husbands. They could have been in a stressful situation. You know, we see that. Or on the other side, we have a tragedy in the family, or the family pet passes away or something, and then they get acne, or then their cortisol levels are raised. So
that's super interesting.
It's all interconnected. And yeah, we educate as much as possible when we're there. And again, like I said before, clients are smart. People are looking at things, they're looking at content, they're reading things. It's such a healthy society, I would say. People are vaping. They know that it's bad, but they come in, they're like, Carms, I'm vaping. And I'm like, okay, you know, like, so they usually are quite informed. It's a really different time, but we still do have those clients that are in emotional situations, you know, stressful workplaces, so many unhappy people.
Exactly. Well, the body expresses what the mind suppresses.
They just, and it's hard. This affects their skin. When you're stressed, it depletes your collagen, elastin, so they look more aged, and they're like, I'm feeling really aged. And I'm like, you hate your job and your boss is yelling at you. And I've really, really always wanted to make sure that we created really safe, happy work environments, because you're there all the time. But majority of people at some point are in an unhappy job. So if they come in and have a skin treatment and we give them recognition and support around that, that also helps their skin. So what we're doing is not just topical. We are a big support system, and they don't teach you mental health first aid or anything like that. I think it should be something that's built into all of the school systems, unless they're doing it now. For me, I had to go after doing dermal, and we enroll all our team members in. So if you've got a client who has suicidal tendencies, are you trained in skin to talk about that to them? No. Like, that's happened to me in my career. I didn't know what to do. I was 20, 25, 26. What am I meant to say to a person that's feeling that way, having a treatment with me, and then they're going to go home? So if anyone is in the industry, or I'm going to make my children do it, or encourage that they do it in high school so that they can have that tool in their belt, go and do a mental health first aid, learn how to talk, how to distinct between something that really is an emergency to not. I mean, yeah, clients have been suicidal about their skin. There's been lots of different things over my career, but I think that you're obviously learning as you go, but whatever is going on internally is coming out topically, and usually the number one causative factor for your skin breaking out is stress. And then you've got your hormones and then your gut health. And we take it back even really simply. So, what are you having for breakfast? And they might be saying, well, I'm having a Milo or a chocolate shake or something that could be like sugar-based. And then they've got acne. And so we're not like blame. We're like, well, how about you swap it to something else? And it could be a little incremental changes that then helps them with their skin. Or break up with your boyfriend. You know what I mean? Like Exactly. It could be something like really bad. Well,
the skin and like the body, it's like just manifesting all the internal stuff. And I think for example, like the boyfriend one's pretty common. I think there's a couple of reasons that could happen. One is because they're too scared to break up with them. So maybe they're trying to not be as attractive so that the partner might leave. There's some sabotage mechanisms built in. Like there's been a lot of people I've interviewed who work with people, for women who will be in relationships and they will unconsciously be overweight because they actually don't want to be with their partner. Yeah. And then as soon as the partner leaves, they lose all this weight because they didn't actually want to be attractive to this partner.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, it's so common, the glow up after someone breaks up with someone and the emotional stress. And again, I have perspective being a little bit older now, and I'm like, your life is so precious. Like you want to be like in love with your partner, spending time with them. It's relationships, you have to work on them with anything. But when I see someone unhappy, I feel so much empathy because it could be so different. And that's when it's not that you're becoming a psychologist, but you're exposed to so much. And I mean, I really feel inspired by a lot of the client stories and a lot of things that I've learned over the years. All of my really good clients, they are a decade older than me, and some of them 2 decades. So I love to learn what they cook or how they are with their kids, or what have they done with money? What have they done with investments? How have they dealt with this situation at school or that situation in their family? So I think going into the industry, if skin industry in particular, it is really beautiful because there's so many relationships that you can grow and learn from. But the things that I've been told or been privy to over the years has really shaped me, into the person that I am. And I think it's still really exciting that I can learn things from my clients. They've all been my little teachers, especially my ones that have been with me for years. And I've seen their skin go through different transformations as well based off what they're going through in their life.
Yeah, there's just so much to learn.
Has your skin always been clear? Have you ever had acne? Have you ever had pimples?
Yeah,
your skin is very clear. Like I'm looking at it, you don't have pigmentation.
I have bags under my eyes though, and that's they're somewhat genetic.
Yeah,
like my pop's quite, and my mum.
Yeah, I mean, I can't see them though.
Okay, that's good. Maybe it's the lighting.
No, I think like if I'm looking at your skin, like you're 24, it's fairly like clear. You don't have any pigment. There's no acne. It's I would say what we call genetically blessed. But yes, you'll have a predisposition for under eye bags if your parents do, and you usually just look at your mum or dad or your grandparents. I mean, I look at my babushka, she is 89 and we got the same face shape, we got the same under eye. I would love to do some laser or some IPL on her, but she doesn't need it or want it, but it would still be fun. But yeah, if you look at your parents, it's going to be somewhat of how you potentially might look, but you can change that as well and do a lot of preventative work. But yeah, your skin looks fairly clear. So it's hard to also explain to someone if they haven't had an emotional experience with their skin breaking out or pigment or something, because it's really, really damaging to someone's confidence. People still get bullied about their skin. People make comments at work, or I've got a client who works at a building company and she's like, I'm like, what? Like, you've got acne. Like, what do you mean? Like, grown men? She's like, yeah, they make comments about my skin. And I'm like, oh, I'll go in there. I'll speak to them. So yeah, again, it goes back to skin being very, very emotional and what we do and why we're so busy is because, yeah, people care about how they look and they want to look and feel their best. And that's where skin health and like longevity in your results are really important because you want to make a difference in someone's skin if they're coming in and spending a lot of money because it is expensive to have your skin treated somewhat. If you're doing it like cheaper options or cheaper versions at home, you can work on your gut health. You can improve your sleep. You can wear sunscreen. There are other ways. But if you have like a skin condition, it can be a little bit tricky to treat it sort of at home, in my opinion.
So what are the best holistic skincare options?
Well, like I said, sleep, really important. Like if your cortisol levels are really high and you're not sleeping, like your body is never going to be in a rest stage and you're just going to be inflamed. And we see a lot of that. Your gut health is really important, whether you're having a lot of antioxidants or greens in your diet. That is so helpful and it's still underrated. And if someone tells you their day of food, and again, this is something that we go through with people to pinpoint what could be a trigger, they might not have any veggies or fruits. So it could be a gentle option of how about you introduce that into your diet. And then hormones. So that plays a big part and there's so many hormones that could be out of place. Postpartum, stress, they could be low in iron. We see that a lot. A lot of people are low in iron and they have acne. So if you feel like you haven't had a blood test or a check, we highly recommend doing that. And when you go to a GP, you just ask for, a list of your bloods basically because you want to see what you might be low in, what might be inflamed, what might be high. They are really great at reading what might be wrong, but you sometimes have to dive a little bit deeper. Like, okay, I haven't had my period for 2 years. What's happening? Like if a doctor says, okay, just have the pill or something, again, it might just suppress that. Well, it is going to suppress that. So we always encourage people to dive deeper into their health if they're having problems topically. Like if you've got a full-blown body of eczema, it could be so many different things, but topically we can only do so much. And I think it's about being open and transparent as well with our clients. Like we're not trying to pull the wool over your eyes. We truly try to educate so that they have a good understanding. So I would say sleep, gut health, and hormones. Is that really what you asked me?
How does
practices you asked me? Did you? What'd you ask me?
Yeah, it was like options, like holistic options. That's good.
Yeah.
How do women's contraception affect their skin?
Well, in a big way. They basically give them a fake period and it suppresses your hormones. And when you come off it, it is usually for some, in 90% of cases that I see, it's like opening Pandora's box because your body has to regulate itself again. We have brides weekly contacting us. I'm getting married in March. I need to come off the pill. After that, can you help me with my skin, basically? So clients are well informed now with their skin. I was on the pill for 10 years. It is a suppressant. Like at some stage, if and when you want to have children, you're going to have to come off it because you need to have your bleed cycle, basically. So I was 25 when I came off the pill because I knew that when I was 30, I was hoping that Reese would have proposed to me by then. But yeah, I planned, but I was on it for 10 years. I just went in. I don't know why the doctor put me on it and I just took it unconsciously. I just took it. I would never let my daughters take the pill. I don't want them to take it. I want to have other things in place. Whereas everyone in my generation, we all took the pill and clients are still. Now I understand some clients have endometriosis. Some people have conditions where they do need to be on it. If I'm talking from a skin therapist perspective, it's a hard journey if they have problems after the pill, whether it be their period coming back or their skin. We just posted someone just yesterday on our stories who came off the pill last year. Gorgeous girl, cystic acne. It's just so damaging to someone's confidence. You feel so awful when your skin is not good. And that emotional aspect is just so rampant with everyone because we're all trying to look and feel our best. And if you've got a face full of acne, it's hard, but it also is normal to have acne. It is normal. It is common. So if we go back to the pill, I took it for 10 years, so I can't be too anti, but I am now in terms of I wouldn't want my 2 daughters to take it, and I took it. I think my mum just did what she thought was best, but thankfully I had the education around skin and being in the industry that I knew at 25, and it was a conscious decision that I made, and I just said to Reese, who's obviously now my husband, like, I want to come off the pill because I want to be able to get pregnant in my 30s and I don't want to have problems, because I feel like a lot of clients struggle at times to get pregnant after they've been on the pill for so long. And I know that you're not there yet, but I'm sure that your girlfriend might know people or even your mum, but like the infertility rate and the amount of people that we see that just trying to get pregnant and they just can't. I don't know. Is it because of the pill? I don't know if it's the environment. I don't know if it's the chemicals, but I can tell you right now, as a skin therapist, we are like on the forefront of dealing with women who are just been trying years. They're going through IVF. They've had problems. They're not getting a period, or it's been messed up from the pill. And I think there's a lot of that on social media that you probably would see if you dove deep enough. And yeah, it's just it's natural for your body to bleed and it needs to have a natural period, and sometimes it takes a while to get back to that after you've been on the pill because it suppresses a lot of things. But there's also a place at times. Yeah, my daughters, I wouldn't want them on it.
How do you find...
It's controversial. That will ruffle some feathers, but it's the truth, because if they're seeing if you went to our books and looked at the clinics, I would say a really high percentage this week are in because of post-pill acne and concerns and problems. And if you look at the client we just posted about, she is like the classic poster girl for acne, and for all intents purposes, she's very healthy. But it's because she took the pill. So I don't think condoms are the answer, but I just think that we take the pill unconsciously and we need to get more conscious about it because we have more education around it now.
And from what I've heard from guests, especially women talking about it, is like it's just used as a Band-Aid for a host of other issues as well.
Yeah, like I think I went in for pimples, and I mean, I'm 37 and I'm still breaking out. Thank God my skin looks okay today for you, because I was like, oh, I'm breaking out. Like, oh my gosh.
The skin expert comes on. She's
breaking out. I'm not an expert, but I just, yeah. But I've had 3 weeks at home. It's the sugar, it's the alcohol. My gut health is really usually on point. And because I've had Christmas and I'm eating and drinking things straight away, because my period's still coming regularly, I'm still doing my skincare. And I try to show those things on social media as much as possible. Like there's certain things I'm really private about. But when it comes to like my skin, or I just had a full mummy makeover surgery. So I just had a tummy tuck done. I had a breast reduction. I had lipo. I had all of my stuff done after having the babies. And it was always the plan. Like I share those things because I want someone else to feel less alone of, oh, my body looks like that too, or I'm going through that too. Whereas other aspects of my life I keep really private.
How do you find like talking to women about this balance between getting to like the root cause, like with their relationships, with their job, you know, but also without feeling like too much pressure to like show up, like just to, how do I word this? I feel like there's this modern beauty standard, right? Like women have to
look a certain way.
Yeah, look a certain way. So how do you find this balance between like getting to the root cause and then also just not covering over it with treatment as well? Like how do you what's your mindset around that?
Well, it's just having honest conversations and just guiding them around what might be the problem and giving them the confidence to go and source and look that out, or, you know, source that and look deeper into it And it just goes down to, having the honest conversation and education around you should be going to the bathroom. You should be getting your periods. Your skin could be clearer. There is an imbalance that's going around. So we try to educate around that and support around that. So if I'm having a conversation with someone and they might be dancing around it, well, it is what it is. We just have to, as skin therapists, I can do microneedling on you.
What is microneedling?
Microneedling.
I keep seeing that in your story. I'm like, what is it?
Do you know what? It'd be really good. You should come in and have a treatment and we'll do a podcast at the clinic or something. Yeah. I don't have these lights, but you should come in just to have a treatment. I mean, your skin's lovely from what I can see and it's not a concern for you, but it would still be nice for you to have a treatment. But basically it's a pen and it punctures the skin and makes little micro injuries into the skin.
Yeah, okay.
The skin then forms collagen and elastin bonds and basically you get reduction in fine lines, open pores, really good for my little acne scars. I had it the other day. But if we're having a conversation with a client, you can't force something or force your ideas onto someone, but we educate around different scenarios and different things that they can do. And it's about the 80-20, like we do 20% for you in clinic. I can exfoliate, hydrate, microneedle, laser your skin, but you do the 80% at home.
I like that.
Yeah, this is like breaking it down for them. So we do a lot of communication and a lot of consultation. And I think if a lot of clinics did that, they probably would benefit even more. I think in the industry at the moment, you can just go in and out. So you might be able to go somewhere and have a microneedling session. I typically wouldn't do that on someone if they're first coming in because I don't know your skin. I don't know how you're going to respond. So we would start with gentler methods, enzyme therapy, LED, just different things. It might be just a hydrating mask and we see how you respond. So consultation is really important because we can't change your relationship, hormones, eating habits. We can only guide and support. And if the girls, my therapist, would get stressed around that, especially if they're starting out, you got to do a lot of like training, a lot of like how you speak, what you can say in different scenarios. This week we did training on like conflict resolution, and I sat in front of my junior therapist and was like, I don't like my skin. I'm not happy with my treatments. And even our admin, our clinic coordinator, I was like, we pretended to do a phone conversation so that they're well equipped to be like, okay. And I said, it just goes back to support. Don't be afraid of words. Don't be afraid of someone if they are getting upset. We just go back to support and nurture. That's what we do there. So it's a big onus, like it's a big thing in my business that I pride myself on. And I think it's why we've cemented our reputation in the industry, but also in Perth, that we will do the right thing and we do want to help you. And if you do, that's just like the proof in your work. Like we get really good results, but it's because we're doing the same thing. It's not because we're doing 100 different things. I mean, there's so many more machines we could get or different products or whatever. The techniques that we do are very simple, but it's sometimes just having that conversation to clients around a skin condition or around their lifestyle that they go, oh, it's like talking to a friend, and they'll be like, oh, my boyfriend does this or says this. And the other one's like, oh, you know, we're learning. We're all learning beans from each other. You know, I'm going to learn stuff from you. You're going to learn stuff from me. And in consultation, it's just, very important to go back to, why did the client come in? What is their main concern? So if you came in and you're like, oh, I don't really have any concerns, I would say, okay, we'll just do a little freshen up on you, you know, because you haven't ever had skin concerns and problems, but I'm sure you would feel amazing. You'd be like, oh, we got to do one. And then you're going to do another podcast and then we'll see the difference in your skin. You'd be like, I've had an exfoliation. The skin fairy did me. I'm looking fresh.
At home LED lights,
yes,
masks worth it?
Yeah, they are for sure. I mean, there's so much stuff on social media about this. There's clinical trials and white papers and everything that you need for the actual evidence of this. And also, I just want to say the TGA is really strict with products and machinery and anything that is put out there. We're really strict in Australia. It's usually safe, and if not, they pull it or there's something that they will ban. a lot of other countries are a little bit more loose. I mean, the argument of the LED is rampant online, so a lot of people like it's just a light. But if it's used correctly, red light is really good for anti-aging. Blue light is really good for acne. If you're combining them, I mean, I've been able to help my acne in the last 2 weeks with using my LED every single night on my skin. You could do something like that if you wanted to be super lazy and do like a skin hack. You're like,
something
well, I don't
lazy.
really,
Something lazy.
Something lazy. Be like, well, I don't really. It's not something that but it might make you feel good. And you're like, oh, I'm doing this LED. My skin feels and looks better. You know, who knows? It might make you feel really good. They've got LED beds. They're not too far away from hopefully coming to Australia. I mean, you can order anything from America, but they're ahead of us in a lot of ways. But LED, yeah, if you've had a peel and you react. If you've got pimples, if you've got inflamed skin at home and you have an LED mask, you can self-treat at home. We highly recommend them. And yeah, they really work. I love them.
What is one thing that everyone is using that is doing more harm than good for their skin?
It's still the scrubbing and the nose pores, the nose strips. And they put them on their nose and they peel it off and it peels their pores out. That can be quite damaging to the skin.
For like sleep?
No.
You mean
the pore strips.
Oh, so that's pore strips. So I used to sometimes sleep with these nose strips.
Yeah, the nose, yeah.
And then I used
you'd be naturally exfoliating you.
No, but it's bad because like after a while it got a red mark and then I looked like Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer with it. But
because it was probably just the adhesive was irritating your skin. Look, people are still scrubbing their skin. I wouldn't recommend that, like with harsh scrubs. Like there's the viral St. Ives scrub, and there was an influencer just the other day. I had a client send it to me. She said, this influencer's posted about the scrub and how it's good and there's no evidence that it's damaging. And I said, well, people that are over scrubbing, over exfoliating their skin, they do have skin irritations. It will thin a little bit. So I would say that. And I also... I don't want to say it, but clients that are shaving their faces with the little mini shavers, dermal planing, if they've got acne and congestion, I want to preface by saying that it's not the best for their skin. It can overstimulate the oil flow, and we find that clients do definitely have issues after that. If you've got a client's skin like yours, like genetically blessed, and there's nothing there, they probably could do it. But again, clients are coming in, I'm breaking out, what did you do? I was dermal planing at home. I just don't think women need to necessarily shave their face. I know that there's other alternatives out there, but we've posted about this on social media and we got a lot of love and a lot of hate.
Welcome to social media.
Yeah, I know. I'm like, meh. Yeah, I mean, look, if you're treating clients and you're in there and you see people and you're hearing, you can pretty quickly determine what works and what doesn't. And a lot of, clinics or businesses probably are going after the next shiny ball of machinery and this, that, and the other. And there's a lot of noise out there. And I always have found that simple techniques are the best and sometimes the easiest to just follow. And that's what we get results with. But yeah, if you've got acne, please don't shave your face because it just can exacerbate it.
What are your thoughts on Tretinoin?
So Tretinoin is, good. So it's a topical vitamin A cream from the doctors. It's prescription. It's good, but I think it's overused. Again, clients coming in with, really reactive skin, really red skin because they're either not using it properly. But yeah, it's like anything in modern medicine. I'm sure that there's a place for it. I'm not totally anti it. But we're seeing the back end of the overuse of it. So someone like yourself, if you used Tretinoin like once a week, a little bit of vitamin A, you probably would look like a shiny disco ball. Probably be really good, really anti-aging for you. So yeah, someone like my mum's skin could probably use it, but you've got 20-year-olds on TikTok talking about how they're using Tretinoin on their face, and it just it's a scary message because someone that isn't well informed could go and follow that and then get reactions and responses. So again, it goes back to the intuition thing, right? What is your skin concern or what do you not like about your skin? Treat it based on that and always go by a a dermal therapist's advice or your doctor's advice, because TikTok and Reddit and all these things. I had a client of mine the other day, Georgia, love her. She messaged me about something that she read on Reddit about an avocado zinc, like our sunscreen that we sell. And I was like, look, I don't know why you're on Reddit. I don't know why you're looking at avocado zinc, but always test patch if you're not sure about a product. But she was worried because she has bought it, but she'd never had a problem before. I'm like, why are you on Reddit? Does anyone really read Reddit? Have you ever gone on Reddit?
Yeah, I do.
I haven't read Reddit. Maybe I'm like, I missed the boat.
It's definitely, I'm a Substack guy. Not many people are in Substack.
No.
But that's very like philosophy, psychology. Like it's like Instagram for philosophers.
Okay.
Or at least my feed is, because you go on Instagram and it's it's a different sort of vibe.
Can I ask you, like, do you believe in aliens being like from your like what you're studying, and if you're into philosophy and stuff, like do you believe in UFOs? Do you believe in aliens? Yeah.
What
you
about
got to get someone in talk about that. Who can we get you?
I've had a few, like I've had some very interesting guests like do past life regressions. I've had hypnotherapists like Boris Walter. He's a really well loved guest. He does like past life regression. So if you like believe in like souls and past lives, like he can regress you back into other timelines that you've been in.
Yep.
But I really want to get someone who's, and it's just hard to find. Like I do a lot of online interviews because it's really hard to just. Of course.
Yeah,
Perth,
it's not like we live down the road from each other.
Yeah, it's like there's only limited people you can get in Perth in terms of like very, very interesting people. So I definitely am on the lookout for.
I know I haven't done a client who I don't have that in my like bag of people because I know so many people and there's so many different industries, but not that. But I wondered if you were, because when you just said philosophy.
Yeah. What do you think about the modern beauty culture? Like as a woman now, like how have you seen things change from like before and after social media?
Well, I feel like it's supportive, a lot more supportive. You know, women are posting and they have like underarm hair, or they've got acne, or all of these things that when I was growing up, it was the skinny jeans showing your tummy, really thin eyebrows. So probably really like toxic what I grew up watching and reading, you know, Dolly magazines and stuff like that. So I feel like it's a lot more accepting of like your body and your appearance. And if you look at all like the Disney princesses, they look a certain way. Have you ever noticed that? I guess because I'm in the realm with 3 little babies. And then you've got villains that are typically overweight. They've got different things on their skin. And I think for me, I was brought up with this idea that you had to be skinny and a certain way. I always felt myself out of that realm. And I think if you're looking at all the Disney villains, and my husband and I went and we had a deep dive on this recently, and I said I grew up watching what we're meant to look like the Cinderella, and then now the Disney princesses and the different heroes in the show, they all look different. You know, they've got different color skin, they've got different hair, and I think it's good that my babies are being exposed to that. Like I remember going to school in year 6 or 7 and someone calling me fat for the first time, and I didn't even know what that meant because we didn't talk like that in my house. And I remember thinking like, what? And like, we don't even say that in our household. So I think the culture is a lot more positive. I think people are accepting. You see girls posting with like beautiful big monobrows, like, and it's like a cool thing because they're like a catwalk model or whatever. But I think it's good. Or girls with short hair. Like, I feel like I didn't see that a lot. So yeah, I feel like the norm has changed, and there's so many different versions of beautiful, and it's taken me a long time to work on myself personally to even feel good about myself. And I think it's because of how I was brought up, but also what I was exposed to. And I would hate if my daughters felt any type of way, which they will, it's humans. I would hate for them to feel the way I have felt about myself, because I look at them now and they're beautiful. One's got red hair that's curly, one's this beautiful blonde, and my son's gorgeous. but it's what they're exposed to. And I don't think my parents did anything wrong. It's just how we were brought up. Like if you didn't have long hair and thin brows and like really skinny, you weren't deemed beautiful, or not in my eyes, because I was bullied in school because I was chubby. And yeah, it's sad because I think now it's way more supportive now. Even what people wear, I think they're way more open, and they wear different things. And yeah, like women are beautiful, and the culture's changed a lot. Even men, I see I feel like the style has changed as well for guys a little bit. But yeah, speaking personally for women,
do you think that
it's positive?
Do you think that those experiences inspired you to go down the route of beauty?
Not really. I think I just wanted to do it because I was interested in it. I think that, yeah, I like to look after people. Maybe it's like a human need, like to look after people, like to help people. It would be more exciting for me to get you a present than for you to give me one.
Yeah.
You know, I'd be like, oh, what could and I'm very much a perfectionist. So when I'm doing a face, I don't know if you've got this, if you're the trait of us being earth signs, we're like particular about things. But this is great. This really is good for us. But I'm very particular when I'm doing a person's face. Like if it was your mum, if it was you, I will make sure that is perfect, that I have done it and executed it, because I think about if that was my mum or my friend, I want to make sure that it's perfect for them, that they have the good experience. Even if I'm like have to do a longer treatment, I would ensure that it's done properly. I don't like to say that I would take shortcuts in someone's skin treatment. So yeah, I think just that girly nature of loving makeup and beauty stuff. Did I know that it was going to turn into these massive businesses? No. But I just followed down the route of loving beauty and then more interested in skin science and how things work, and wanted to work with different machinery and things like that. So that's what I did and why I was doing beauty, waxing, tinting. The best skin therapists are always who have spray tanned, who have waxed vaginas, because we are particular about things.
Now, you've worked with a lot of women. Where do you think the line is, or obviously the line is just some arbitrary construct, but what do you think? There's like this social messaging around self-acceptance for women. I want to know your perspective because you talk to a lot of women. Where is this balance between accepting who we are versus taking positive changes to improve ourselves, not just from the place of fear about not being good enough, but wanting to do it from a positive place of love? But like, where do you find that tension between the desire for improvement, but also accepting all parts of ourselves and being okay with our imperfections?
Well, I think that everyone to some degree feels like they're never enough. And they want to change themselves. And that's where I feel like the tension comes from. They want to be loved. They want to be enough. If someone's in there having a skin treatment and they're single, they usually want to find someone, or they don't feel like they're good enough, so they want to improve themselves. And I think it comes back to how a person feels about themselves. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, I just find we're in a world which is...
Like I did my surgery,
Yeah.
sorry to interrupt, post-babies because, you know, I'd lost weight. I have had my babies. I want to feel my best self. Yeah. I'm not going out in a bikini at Trig Beach every day, but I feel much better within myself. You know, I can wear my high-waisted jeans again. I feel good. So that wasn't for anyone. But there's still a form of like body dysmorphia that I'm like, do I even look any different? And my husband's like, you've had major surgery. So I think, again, even I go back to, like, okay, you're enough. Like, you're fine how you are. And I don't know why I would be thinking that any other way, because I would say I'm quite secure in myself or whatever. So I don't know if it's the messaging, the subliminal messages that we're seeing or hearing. But the tension that you're talking about, you know, I'm not saying that everyone wants to be loved and in a relationship, but people are either wanting to be loved or they're like feeling like they're not enough, and I don't know, is it because of how they were brought up? Is it what they're seeing on social media? I had someone blow dry my hair recently, and she was talking about someone that was 21 and she was driving a Range Rover, and I was like, so just because you're not at that stage doesn't make you less than. She's like, oh, and I was like, you finish high school, you're in a full-time job, you have an amazing career. And she was a beautiful girl, but she felt less than because she's comparing herself to someone that drives. And I was like, that girl might have a loan, and who cares?
Who cares?
So maybe in that moment it might have given her some support, but I get what she's saying. But we're watching people's highlight reel on social media and thinking, oh, I'm not good enough because I don't have that or I don't look like that. But overall, I think there's a better social acceptance on people and how they look, yes. But people are still comparing themselves. I think that will just be the age of time that we will all do that to some degree. I just go back to now just thinking, well, I just want my kids to make sure that they love me. And my husband, like, you know, if someone else doesn't like me, I just can't do anything about it. I can't waste time on that. I need to work on bigger things, but still very hard on myself. That's just a natural trait. I think maybe that's something that drives me.
I find that tension between like liking and loving like who I am, but being okay with that part of me that also motivates me. Like I feel like it's the carrot and the stick, right? Like I definitely know that there is negative beliefs about myself that drive me.
Yeah.
And I think there's the more I focus on that, like, I don't know, I feel like where like Tony Robbins always says, like, life's about focus. Like you experience the life you focus on, and it's so easy to focus on these negative parts of ourselves and trying to like remove the internal judgment.
Yeah.
I feel like I've been trying to shift my focus at least to love and like impact and creation. And I feel like over the last 3 years, as I've learned a lot about psychology, I don't like to say over introspecting, but like, I think a lot of the cause of mental health struggles is we focus so much on ourselves. Like we are so judgmental on ourselves, and we don't realize that like life is about relationships and experiencing life with other people. Because think about what life would be if you were the only person on earth.
Yeah. And I think that you just being grateful or practicing gratefulness can help you in that headspace, being grateful for what we have and that perspective of how lucky we have, or as opposed to what we don't. You have to teach yourself to catch those thoughts and change how you're talking to yourself, because we all have that. We're trying to protect ourselves all the time, but we tend to focus on the negative things. I just find gratefulness is something that really helps me, because I'm trying to be perfect at something, and I'm not going to be perfect at it. I just have to be the best I can be at it and stop striving for certain things that are going to cause me upset. But I also think on the other hand, it's kind of good to be a little bit uncomfortable.
Exactly, yeah.
You know, that's also something that drives me. It's not all like positive. I don't want to be the same person that I was yesterday. I don't want to live the life that certain people have lived. So it goes back to like the you against you.
It is all internal, isn't it?
Yeah. And I think it's great to have an element of being really, to be hard on yourself, because it pushes you, and, you know, you can then expand. Like you could help more people, you could teach more people, like you can bring them in. As well. But yeah, it's a lonely thing if you're in your head all the time. But most people, pretty much everyone, they're all just worrying about themselves. Like, so we just have to go after what we want to do, because they're worried about themselves and how they look or whatever they're doing. But we're concerned what someone might think about us, or that we're going to be judged for something. We are our own worst critic. And when I used to do spray tans, that everyone has to get unchanged, they go in a G-string, girls and guys, they'll instantly point out their flaws. Oh, I've got a cellulite here. And I'm like, I don't care. I've seen lots of naked bodies. Like, it's just a body to me. But we're so hard on ourselves. And in the service industry of doing skin or beauty, you notice as well how everyone is really focused on themselves and how they're not enough, or, you know, again, there's a lot of happy people, but I'm just talking from the perspective of we get that intimate look, and you're about to spray tan someone, your body looks like everyone else's body, whether you're large, small, tall, short, whatever, but people will point out things about themselves. And
It's a preemptive. It's a way to control, isn't it? So like you can't
protect.
Yeah, you can't judge me because
no,
here's my bad stuff.
Yeah, here's my bad stuff. But also knowing that we're all like that to some degree makes people feel less alone.
100%.
Because that's humans being humans, and it's important that we talk about it so that, you know, it's maybe the younger generation will come through like my babies and they'll be more open to things and even more heart-led than what we are. But I think we're on the right track. Like I see a lot of positivity. I think people are very connected and supportive, and, you know, there's lots of bad things out there, but we are our own worst critic. I know I am. And if you can learn to be kinder to yourself and follow your intuition, you can and you will flourish. And yeah, like I know that I'm meant to do great things, and I'm just going to keep going until I achieve them. Keep working on myself and keep going after things.
Yeah, because I feel like the biggest issue with self-judgment the trap we fall into is judging our judgments, right? Like this downstream turbulence we have, because like, for example, when I play footy or I'm kicking a football and I make a mistake or something, there's sometimes that voice, that judgment, or you feel an emotion. The issue isn't that happening. It's when we start judging that and we start like having a conversation with ourselves. It's very aggressive. Like I used to get so angry with myself because I would feel shameful for being emotional about it or judging myself.
Yeah.
And then I've really learned to let go of that, have a laugh with my judgments, realize that it's not me. I think that's a lot of what the essence of meditation is finding this detachment from the inner voice. So many good books I've read on that, because we just identify with the thoughts. We think we are the thoughts. We think we are the feelings that happen.
Yeah.
Being able to create distance from what we feel and think and be like,
actually, no. Yeah.
No, it's not me. And then we get to choose how we respond. I think, you know, at times we are going to be reactive, but
I definitely talk to myself. I'm like, no, that's not true. And then I'm teaching my babies, or so-and-so, or no, that's not true. Telling them, teaching them. No one ever taught me that. No one ever taught me that my thoughts weren't true. And it's like a non-negotiable with things, you know, if I'm going to go for a walk, like I don't want to go for a walk, but, you know, not listening to yourself all the time and your thoughts controlling, like, no, we're doing this because that's what I do and I'm disciplined to go and do that. But if it's a negative thought, that's not true. Like, I'm not good at it. My son in particular, I'm not good at that. I can't do it. Well, you did it a couple of weeks ago. So it starts really young, which now I'm in it because I'm parenting little people, and the thoughts and the deep stuff comes really, really soon, and it happens fast. And I don't think that everyone's equipped to, parent because I'm learning as I'm going. And I don't know if my parents were having the same conversations that I'm having with my kids, but we're having some deep conversations and they're little. But I want them to have their own inner voice that is strong, maybe to follow in how I feel that I can manage situations, how I feel about myself, and just my intuition, like which we spoke about at the start. But it's very sad when a 7-year-old's like, oh, I can't do that. I'm not good at that. I'm like, well, you are though. Like, you need so much encouragement, but we do as well as adults. We need encouragement. We need support. I often am always encouraging my team if something heavy's going down, it's like talking through that and being like, you're going to get through this. Like, this is just words, or it's just a season, or it's just a situation, or you're making a story about that. And this is usually their personal life, something happening. And most times it's not the end of the world, but we're either hard on ourselves or we've made it so catastrophic that it's like a really serious event, when it could just be our thoughts making a story about something, and it's actually not that bad. And it's really can be emotionally damaging to people, especially if you've not got a lot of confidence or you're not around good people or a good person. I think it's really important to who you hang around with, who you're listening to. Like, I know there's so much out there, but it is so true. You know, have you done a friend audit? Have you looked at who you're hanging around? Who do you feel good around? And it's not a case of that person. I had someone say, I want people who add value to my life. And I was like, yeah, but not everyone's going to be in a season that they're going to be able to give that and be that. That's a really hard measure to have someone up against. But do they make you feel good? Do you feel good around them? Are they good people? Because, yeah, I totally believe like who you hang around is who you become. And if your thoughts and you're saying things and they're saying things back, you know, you want to be connecting on a positive note. And, it's not always going to be. But, yeah, who you're around is very, very important because we're up against ourselves as it is. You don't want to be around people that are not going to be nice or supportive or loving. And I think if you just have one person like that, you should cherish them. I definitely feel like my relationships in my life are so sacred and special, and I really value them because they give me the energy and the support that I need to follow in my goals and in my life. So yeah, who are you hanging around? Really important.
Yeah, because I think life's already challenging enough than having to prove and justify every single little thing you do to your friends who might see the world differently.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you're going to outgrow people and you're going to distance from people, and that's okay. It's like the sentence no that we spoke about before. It's going to be okay that person might have been a season in your life or in your business or whatever it is. Sometimes it's in relationships like marriages, but I think that it is so important who you have around you because, negativity feeds off negativity, but I also want to be really successful in my marriage. I want to be really successful in my businesses. I want to be really successful as a mother. And those measures are just within myself. Like I want to be good at it. I want to enjoy it. I feel like I can get the best out of those. But you're told that you can't have a career and you can't be a mum. And if you do, you might not be doing something right. And the people that I look up to now, being 37, having the babies, is people that are really close with their kids or really connected, and they've built a career or they've, been a stay-at-home mum, but they're really close. And I'm talking about, in their 50s or 60s. I really look up to people that have great relationships with their kids. I feel very loved and connected to my mum and dad. Like they are my people and they are completely different to me in every way. And they've got all their flaws and whatnot, as I do, but I see them for people, and what they give me is, I really cherish that as nice people. They haven't done anything that I've done in terms of like my career. They, haven't owned a business and whatnot, but they don't have to. They give me love and support that I need to be able to do that. So I believe that we are, seeing things, we're hearing things, and then we've got ourselves to contend with. And you just have to go back to your little voice inside of what do you want, or what sets you on fire, or what do you feel is right? Because we're trying to be guided by others where you'll be lost along the way if you don't listen to yourself. Yeah,
that's what I mean. I think life is quite challenging enough already. So it's like if you don't like yourself, it's pretty hard, it's an uphill battle.
Yeah. And I'm hard on myself. I wouldn't say I'm like, oh, Carmen, you're amazing. Like I'm really hard on myself, but I also believe in myself. I'm like, I'm going to do this and I'm not going to, stop until I achieve it, or I want to, be a really good cook or whatever it is. And I think just having that confidence in yourself, maybe when no one else does.
How do you find trading off tangible metrics for hidden metrics? Because like in business, it's very observable. Money, followers, you can see the fruits of your labor, but in a family life, there's no way to see and observe the ineffable, the peace of mind, the joy, the fulfillment from love. How do you find?
Well, I mean, I guess you can though, if your kids feel secure and safe, if they're loud, if they're going around and they feel comfortable in the house.
But there's no end of month report compared to when you look at your finances or money or business. Like I think you're looking at turmoil, you're looking at your relationships, you're looking at like the quality over quantity of time that you're spending. But
for me, a happy household is my babies coming home from school, and my littlest, being in the house and feeling comfortable and safe to have all the range of emotions. But yes, there isn't. There's not a P&L at the end of the month for the McNamara family. But we would definitely look at, our family dinners. How many times have we sat down with the kids, which is most nights? What are our practices? We practice gratefulness in our house every night at the dinner table. And it's just something that we do personally. But I would equate my home life to, the time that I've been able to spend with the kids and, how safe and secure they feel. And I feel like I'm achieving that because they are happy and they're very loud and they're making a mess and doing all the things that kids do. So I would say that they're happy and secure. It's more when they go out of the family home that you have to contend with, which is really tricky because you're guiding them and teaching them this is how we do X, Y, Z. And then they come home and they're like, oh, well, Bobby said this at school. And you're like, oh, Bobby. Well, Bobby doesn't live here. That's a different household. So, in business, I would say that, obviously you've got your numbers, you've got the breakdown. And when I'm looking at my family, how in love and connected are we? That's how I would equate success in the family home. And I think it was different to how everyone views things because everyone's doing different things in their family. I don't know. You're going to be if you have kids, you're going to be such an enlightened dad. You're going to be able to have some deep fucking conversations with them. And it might really be it'll be challenging for you for sure because parenting is, but you're in tune with your emotions. You're having different conversations. You're going to be miles from here when you're, the next 10 years, just say if you have a baby when you're 36 or your partner.
A bit younger. She wants a bit younger. So.
She wants a bit younger. Yeah, we usually do. I was ready for babies at 25. We all just ready sooner. But you will be able to impart things to your children that your parents didn't and haven't. And we're not blaming them. They've done the best that they can. They're people. But this is where we get to, enlighten ourselves or be better in any way. And my mum always said that. So that's why I don't feel bad. She's like, if you guys do better than us in any capacity, it's not money, it's not career. It's if you've done better in your relationship, your love, your whatever, then we've succeeded. That's what she always says to us. So I hope that for my kids as well.
I heard a couple of good things. One was around intelligence. Like intelligence is getting out of life what you want. And another one that I like around what you're talking about with gratitude and being able to, I guess, make the unobservable.
Like we're lucky.
Yeah, I think I was reading a newsletter. It was these multimillionaires. They were on this island, and they were like, one of them was really obsessed with money and just wanting to show off how rich he was and stuff like that. And the other one was, had a lot of money, but that wasn't his focus, right? Like he had stopped pursuing businesses and he was really content with life. And the one who kept wanting to make more money was like bragging about it, and they were having a conversation. And the guy who was really grateful for what he'd said, "You're so poor, all you've got is money." And he was like, because like we can be rich in things that aren't financial, rich in relationships, rich in experiences. And I think, there's so much to the fabric of what success looks like. And I think we young people, especially now, are striving towards things that they can show other people on Instagram, whether it's holidays,
like
money,
the Range Rover,
businesses. Yeah. And I think that has come at the expense of peace of mind, quality relationships, and I mean, I would give everything away if it meant that it could just be me and my husband. Like we've been together for 18 years this year. Like I didn't plan that we would still be together. Do you know what I mean? Like we met when we were 18, 19, but the materialistic side of everyone is, I mean, people will catch up with me or they might see me and they'll say, how's the business going? And I'm like, well, I've got 3 kids. Well, people are so obsessed. I think I've noticed, especially since being in business, like, where are you going on holiday, or what are you doing, or how are the businesses going? It's this constant like measuring of like, am I enough? Or, people ask a lot about someone's what you're doing, what it looks like.
Or like what it looks like. And I just think, I don't know.
instead of at the end of the day.
Not the important things to me.
Yeah.
So it stands out to me now more so than ever. Like, it's like, oh, nice to meet you. What do you do for work?
Yeah.
Like, it's just that it's the constant like measuring. And, you know, again, I share a lot of online about my skin or my body or whatever, but there's certain things that I keep really private. And yeah, my relationships, my marriage, my babies are what's the most important to me. But in today's society, it is like where you're holidaying or your car or this, that, and the other. And it could be important to some, but it's yeah, those things are nice. And I'm not saying that I'm not financially driven to, you know, look after my family, but we focus so much on it. Like my little hairdresser doing my hair last year saying someone has a Range Rover, I'm less than. I'm like, so? She probably has $100,000 debt. Like, you're not less than. You've got a career. You're amazing. You're doing great. You're working. We're lucky. But it's that perspective, right? Sometimes we need that person to tell us that, which is why it's important who we listen to, who we hang around, who whatever, because it's who we become. I had friends that were saying to me that they had other friends like, oh, you know, the interest rate, well, the interest rate's always going to rise. But like they're like, oh, how are you going to do this? And it's like a very big scarcity mindset. And I understand that. I think that's a lot of my mum and dad's generation. Well, you know, you're opening the baby spa, like it's going to be fine. Like, we're not worried about it. So, yeah, it's going to be really hard and we have to put our neck on the line for this, but we're going to go all in. And it's only scary if you make it scary as well. And we could fail. You could fail at anything. You could fail at your relationships, work, anything. But, yeah, I just think rich to me means love and connected to my family and my kids. And it's very materialistic. And that's why I love Gary Vee, because he's always saying the simple things of, you know, like he just posted the other day, we used to idolize astronauts and like he said something else. And now it's like, you know, I think people who have built businesses and famous people, yeah, they're amazing at what they do. I definitely find inspiration from people that have built something from nothing. I think they would have had to sacrifice, because I know what I have to do to just have my career and have opened businesses from scratch. It's really, really hard. But I don't think that I'm any special or different to anyone else who's studying or working or whatever it is. But people are very focused on that, definitely. And I mean, I see it because I'm treating clients saying, oh, this person, their husband bought them a car for having a baby, or the Range Rover situation, or, you know, and not everyone's like that, but people definitely fixate, oh, they're so happy. And I'm like, they might be getting divorced. Like, they're posting that they're together and they're having this lovely thing. And, you know, so that's why it's also been a personal decision of mine to keep my private life private. I don't say my children's names on social media. I don't post where I live. I might post little snippets of things, but I try to keep an element of private because I don't want to share or show those sort of things, because my focus is, yeah, skin and helping people and showing that and my businesses, but people want to see the private life stuff. And I love when I see people post about their babies. I think, oh my God, they're so gorgeous, or they're on a holiday in Japan. I'm so happy for them, but not everyone's like that. I don't feel jealous of other people. I genuinely feel happy. I think, wow, because I know if they are doing something, hopefully they're fulfilled, but they must have worked really hard to get there, if it's a car or whatever that they're posting. And then, yeah, obviously I love seeing people's babies and stuff, but I wouldn't post about my own in that way. I keep that private. But if you're comparing all the time, it will definitely be a thief of your joy, you know, the age-old saying. And it happens to me too. I don't look at certain things if I know it's going to make me feel a type of way.
So you've been in a relationship for 18 years now. What do you think's the most important thing for long-term satisfaction in relationships?
I mean, a lot of things, but I would say number one would be your communication. I know that a lot of people confide in other people and not their partners. I see that a lot. I think, do you tell your partner that? I think that it's really sacred if you are with someone. So I would say communication, them speaking, you speaking, you're being on the same page with things isn't always going to be the case. And I think you either grow together or you grow apart. But if you stay connected with your communication, I think you will win in a lot of cases, because a lot of people are not sharing how they're feeling, how they're thinking. And I genuinely check in with my partner. Obviously, as you probably can tell, I'm very emotional, empathetic, and like in tune. And, my partner is very different to me, very analytical, very, closed off more with his emotions. It would be more internally. So yeah, over the years, as you grow together, you either grow together or you grow apart. But I think checking in with your partner is super important. Like, how are you doing? Like, are you okay? Like, we check in with each other. How are you going? Are you going okay? Because sometimes you can't communicate it, right? You go back to your mechanisms or your stories of how you maybe saw it modeled when you were grown up, or how you were, whatever it is. And like I said, I didn't think 18 years ago when I was 19, like, oh, we're going to get married or whatnot. But it was very quickly in the piece that I was like, oh, we're going to be together. Like, I know this. So I would just always encourage to openly communicate and don't hide yourself or pieces of yourself. It takes a long time, I think, to learn how someone is. But yeah, I feel like we can telepathically talk to each other now. We're like, we can almost like be in the same room, and I know he's thinking the same sort of things, and also accepting someone how they are and as they are. I like to dress up, whereas Reese is more low key. And I think that might annoy people. They would probably be like, you need to dress up, but that's just who he is. Like, I'm not going to change who he is. So accepting your partner for who they are, and just know that sometimes you're not going to be on the same page with things. But yeah, if you have the same values and the same morals, like, you can withstand a lot. We make time for each other, very connected. That's my best friend. I would choose him before everyone else. And yeah, there's times that you might want to go out with your friends or whatever, being 24. But if you've got a really special person, I would prioritize that person. But yeah, we see our friends. We did Europe separately. But yeah, my relationship is 100% sacred. And I think it's a lot to do with the success that I've had in business, because I've got this person at home who's been so supportive and rode the wave. Like, it's pretty scary going into business, or even who you have kids with. Holy dooly. That's really important. But look, I don't think that we have it all figured out. But I think a lot of what we do is very intentional, and I'm very aware. It's like, I look after myself, I look after the family, he looks after himself, he looks after the family. But then we have this other thing of like, do you need a cup of tea? Are you okay? Like, how are you feeling today? Or I'm going to book you a massage. Or we're very connected, very supportive for each other, but very different. Very, very different.
That's good though.
In every way.
My partner and I are the same, but
Yeah.
I think that's what you need. Like, I couldn't date myself in a
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. And she will bring things out of you, and vice versa. And I just don't want a mediocre relationship. Like, I want to make sure that we do support, and I just believe that you can have amazing relationships, but you have to work on it. And so many people will take a back step, or like go have a date night, or it doesn't have to be expensive, or it doesn't have to be this big thing, but like intentional time is really, really important, I think.
Yeah. Any concluding thoughts?
Well, I hope that there was some value. I have no idea what we talked about, but I hope there was some values with, anything skin or personal related. But I think just to finish that, yeah, you don't have to believe everything that you think. And I think that people should not be as hard on themselves. And if you've got something topically on your skin, there's something going on internally, and be nice to your dermal therapist, because we most likely want to help you. Because, yeah, we're in this heart-led industry. We love helping people. And you should come and see me for a facial just to have one, and be like, all right, I'm here. What is she doing?
Where do we go to find more of your work?
Instagram, it's the Skin Fairy _ and then the clinic is Skin Fairy Clinic. And we're also on TikTok now. I love TikTok. It's a little bit more rogue, isn't it? It's like you can just post the open, easy things. So we're also on TikTok.
Awesome. Carmen, thanks for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for listening to the episode. I hope you got a ton of value out of our guest today. Now, if you enjoyed that episode, don't forget to click the follow button on Spotify and also click the 3 dots and click rate show. Makes a massive difference in helping grow the show and bring on even bigger guests. And also, if you're on YouTube, don't forget to hit the subscribe button. It does make a massive difference. So thank you, and I'll see you in the next one.